Southern trees bear strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root, black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scene of the gallant South, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth, scent of magnolia, sweet and fresh. Then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here is a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the tree to drop. Here's a strange and bitter cry.
On the 10th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we are urging residents of South Florida and the nation to join us in Miami in commemorating that great civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., so that his famous words, "free at last," will live and become a reality. Let me assure you that his legacy is ever present in our society today. His work is being continued through civil rights organizations, governmental affairs, and you.
What was Dr. King fighting for? You know what he was living for?
For us.
Do you appreciate that?
Yes.
How do you expect to live in the future? Do you think you can live up to what Dr. King wanted?
Yes.
How is that?
Well, he wanted all people to be good and everything. That's what I'm trying to be.
In early June of 2025, I visited the historic Hampton House Museum. It's located in Brownsville, Florida, and a part of Miami-Dade County. When it originally opened in 1954, it was called the Booker Terrace Motel. However, in 1961, the building came under new ownership and it was renovated and changed names to the Hampton House Motel. Throughout the 1960s, the Hampton House hosted many prominent civil rights leaders, athletes, and musicians, including Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Nat King Cole, and Jackie Robinson. According to the museum webpage, this 2-story, 50-room modernist-style inn featured a jazz club, a restaurant, and a swimming pool. The Hampton House was a hotspot for entertainment, and it was also called the social center of the South. During the 1950s and 60s in America, strict segregation laws and racial inequalities existed. For example, African Americans were permitted to work on Miami Beach, but they were forbidden to reside and play there. In 1964, Muhammad Ali, then known as Cassius Clay, won the heavyweight championship in Miami Beach. Despite this historic victory, Ali was denied a stay anywhere at the beach. The new heavyweight champion chose to stay and celebrate at the Hampton House Motel. This was a space where he was welcomed and celebrated regardless of his race. While waiting for my tour to begin at the museum, I sat in the same seat that Ali sat in when celebrating his championship of 1964. In this seat, I was able to reflect on the cultural significance of the Hampton House. I could understand what this building meant to many people in Miami. It was an opportunity to have fun in a safe space without risk of discrimination. While sitting in that seat, this moment in history felt so much closer to me. As an American, it led me to realize how this country has evolved over time. Race was a significant part of life 60 years ago, and it meant that African Americans could be denied equal rights. The Hampton House was a sanctuary at the time. This hotel gave Miamians an opportunity to enjoy a luxurious visit in a tropical city, where beaches, clubs, and bars were mostly reserved for white people. The Hampton House Motel closed in 1976 and remained abandoned until the early 2000s. Threatened with demolition, a local advocacy group worked to declare its block a historic district in 2002, and the building was eventually purchased by Miami-Dade County. Beginning in 2015, the building began a $6 million restoration project with plans to open a museum, community center, cafe, and gift shop. Dr. Enid Pinckney is the person who is credited with saving the Hampton House, leading its restoration efforts.
By the record we've made and the part that we've played, we are Americans too.
The planning of Martin Luther King Boulevard has been in the making for 5 years. Those who had persevered say they never had any doubt that the project would get off the ground. Still, many had hoped that it would be completed for the nation's bicentennial, and now that completion date is 18 months off.
The videos that I have included come from the Wolfson Archives, and that is a collection of film and video materials documenting Florida's history. They are housed at Miami-Dade College, and according to the school, they have over 35 hours of captured film. These videos I have included depict the memorialization of Martin Luther King Jr. 10 years after his assassination in 1978. There is footage of both a parade and the construction of a community center to commemorate the late Dr. Martin Luther King. This is located in the neighborhood of Liberty City, connecting the community to both Little Haiti and Brownsville. Play sets, murals, and the street being named in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. all keep his memory alive. Memorialization is a call to remembrance of past memories and events. The Hampton House is a good example of a part of the past that was almost lost. However, as of 2023, the museum is protected and designated a National Historic Landmark as the only Green Book museum in the world. Green Books got their name from their author, Victor Hugo Green, and they were guidebooks for African American road trippers going through the Jim Crow segregated South. The existence and necessity of these green guidebooks during the times of segregation demonstrate how African American travelers were limited at where they could go. The Carver Hotel similarly has a rich cultural history like the Hampton House, as it also hosted Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. many times.
I doubt very seriously if, well, I would say the vast majority of these counties, you wouldn't have any strong resistance. I think the chief problem would be to conquer apathy. I don't think any section of the country can boast of clean hands in this whole area of human rights.
The Carver Hotel, however, does not stand today. It was demolished in 1990, and according to research from Adam Susanek, when I-95 cut through Overtown in the 1960s, this destroyed many of the neighborhood's historic businesses and entertainment venues. He cites that, in all, construction of I-95 required the forcible relocation of over 12,000 residents in Overtown, nearly 100% of them black. The demolition of the Carver Hotel signifies a rich cultural and historical loss, as this location is now just an empty space with the memories forgotten. The article titled Overtown, Neighborhood, Change, Challenge, and Environment, authored by Eileen Kavros, explores how residents of Overtown view the positive and negative aspects of their neighborhood. When interviewing locals, they looked back at the history positively and quotes, "For many years, Overtown flourished as a cultural, economic, and familiar beacon for blacks in South Florida. It did this in an era of legal segregation through a profusion of shops, businesses, restaurants, and entertainment venues run by blacks, becoming known as the Harlem of the South." So, what happened since then? Kavros claims that construction of I-95 and I-395 through the heart of Overtown shook the neighborhood, and the total forced displacement was estimated at 40% of the population. The large spaces between the elevated expressways swallowed up a large part of the area and turned it into a wasteland. The destruction of historical monuments in Miami through urban renewal projects demonstrate a prioritization of development over the preservation of cultural identity. John Sani, in the article The Destruction of Historical Monuments and the Danger of Sanitizing History, argues that even though there might not be direct physical danger when a historical monument is destroyed, there still exist ethical questions which require attention. He cites how the destruction of historical monuments is a violation because it risks creating obscure representations of history and allows attempts at sanitizing the events of the segregated era. Without memorials or monuments, history can easily become detached from place, memory, and the collective identity. Art, especially jazz music, has played a vital role in both remembering the past and fueling the fight for civil rights. Born from the Black experience in America, jazz has long served as a powerful form of cultural expression and resistance. In segregated spaces, jazz clubs became havens of expression and solidarity, while the music itself preserved the memory of struggle. By carrying the emotional and historical weight of the Black experience, jazz continues to be a living archive of the civil rights movement and a reminder that art inspires action and sustains memories. This example of Alabama by John Coltrane appeared on his 1964 album Live at Birdland, and it was a composition in response to the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing on September 15, 1963, which was an attack by the Ku Klux Klan in Birmingham, Alabama, which killed 4 African-American girls. Additionally, the song, a part of Section 1, Strange Fruit, by Billie Holiday, holds deep racial significance as one of the earliest and most powerful musical protests against racism in America. Released in 1939, the song exposes the horror of lynching in the South. It describes black bodies hanging from trees as a strange fruit. The haunting lyrics and Holiday's emotional performance forced audiences, especially white listeners, to confront the brutal realities of racial violence. The article, Performance as a Force for Change, The Case of Billie Holiday and Strange Fruit, by David McGorlick, cites how Columbia Records, Holiday's label in the late 30s, refused to record it. Even progressive radio stations wouldn't play this song. The author also cites how coming out the same year as Gone with the Wind, the song almost single-handedly changed the politics of American black culture and put elements of protest and resistance back at the center of contemporary black musical culture. It can be concluded that historic sites like the Hampton House Museum, forms of media like the Wolfson Archives, or forms of art like the jazz music of Billie Holiday serve as essential tools for preserving the lived history of segregation in America. In Miami, segregation shaped the physical and social landscape of the city, dividing neighborhoods and limiting opportunities. Institutions like the Hampton House Museum, once a safe haven during the Jim Crow, now stand as living reminders of that legacy. However, the destruction of the Carver Hotel demonstrate the importance of advocating to protect and memorialize historic locations to tell the story of the segregated era. The creation of music that tells the story of violence against African Americans or segregation keep the history alive. We must look at Miami's urban renewal projects through Overtown in a critical lens, as many people have been displaced and communities have been split apart.